I don't always watch YouTube, but when I do, I prefer Amro Azul TV. Stay thirsty, my friends. Hello and welcome back everybody to Amro Azul TV. I've been taking a little bit of a hiatus from YouTube because lots of work around the house. We're doing a couple of renos, so I've just been super busy. But I thought I would take a little bit of time and just update you on my tank, about the opening, the most interesting blenny in the world. I just couldn't resist. I captured that little shot of Kenny the blenny. He's got a lot of attitude, so I thought might as well make him the most interesting blenny in the world. Okay, so about the tank, let me see. I lost one fish, my new leopard wrasse. It's been in the tank for I think maybe 3 or 4 months. Before that, it had like a full quarantine, and just it looked super healthy. But one day I just found it that on the bottom of the sand. So not really sure what happened there. I was a little bit upset because I always wanted a leopard wrasse, and it took a while to kind of get her through quarantine. She was very finicky. I had to like daily raise brine shrimp to kind of feed her, and then she finally ate frozen, and I was so happy. And like 3 months later, she's belly up. So sometimes it's hard to really know. Obviously all the other fish are healthy, so I don't think it's an issue with that pest, but sometimes you hear these stories about when people are collecting fish for the aquarium tape. Sometimes they use cyanide, and it essentially kind of poisons the fish, so they're short term, they seem okay, but then they just kind of die out of nowhere. So potentially that could be the culprit. And we also had a really close call with the tank in terms of getting a substantial alkalinity swing. So what happened was about 2 weeks ago, I got a warning from my Apex that my Alk dosing container is running low. I have a float sensor there, and I kind of overrode the warning, and I just made a mental note to refill my dosing container when I got a chance. But because I'm so busy with the house reno, I forgot. So the next warning that I get was last weekend, literally like close to midnight. My Alk went from like 8.3 to 7.5, and then I'm like, that's unusual. So I ran and I noticed that my dosing container was like totally dry. The issue is I didn't have a 2-part ESV ready. So I made a couple of panic phone calls, and my good friend and neighbor Wally, who's got a reef tank, some of you would have seen some of the crazy equipment he builds for his tank. Anyway, so he had ESV, so I quickly ran and I got the container from him, and then I did a quick test again, and the alkalinity has been essentially dropping. So it was 7.5, and now it was like around 7. So it was like about a one point DKH drop. So thankfully I managed to get the ESV from my neighbor Wally, and I started dosing, and I brought it back up to 8.3, 8.4 where I typically keep it. And I was a little bit concerned that the swing, this short-term swing from like 8 point something to 7 might upset my corals, but luckily no major kind of change in how the corals are looking or behaving. So perhaps I dodged a bullet, and obviously if I didn't have a friend, a local reefer that I could get help from, I would have been in a much worse situation. So thank you, Wally, for saving my tank yet again. And I think that's a good bit of advice for new people that are starting, is try to get to know your local reefing community, and have a list of emergency contacts, because emergencies do happen, and it's always good to have good neighbors and good friends who could step up in times of need. Okay, that's it for the update. Let me quickly show you the corals before we say bye. Okay, we'll start with the bottom here. The clam is doing well, so is the open brain coral. And then the SPS have been growing like I don't know what's happening, but they just the last like 3-4 months they've been taking off. This is a WWC Little Red Ferrari. I kind of fragged it twice over the past 2 weeks, and it's still you know, looking really good. The Cali Tort on the right here, and the Orange Passion, it's definitely basing out, and I see new branches, so super excited. The Hawkins Ishinada is also growing really well, probably due for a little clipping. I love the colors on the Hawkins. It's a very unique kind of turquoise, so if you get a chance to get a frag of this, do so. And then we have the Bubblegum Digi. The Bubblegum Digi is magic. The more you frag it, the bigger the colony gets. I don't know what's happening there. And here, so this actually was an Applejack. And the Applejack frag looked identical to my Rainbow Loom. So I took it out and I put this Fox Flame in there. And that's kind of one of the advantages of having a modular landscape is you could quickly change around who lives where. Green Slimer is looking fantastic, and the Blueberry Wine is also growing really well. You can't really appreciate the height on the Green Slimer, but it's really taking off vertically. So it's you know, probably like 5-6 inches at least. Then as we head down, here is the what is that one? Golden Jaw Dropper. And I'm really liking the colors that are developing out of this colony. So you do get that kind of goldish body, and I love the fluorescent yellow tips, and you know, kind of the tips go white and then this pop of fluorescence. So it looked boring for a very long period of time, but I'm really liking the interesting color scheme on this. The Jason Fox Jolt is still like, it's by far the slowest Acropora in my tank right now. You know, you could see the the PC Rainbow beside it. The PC Rainbow was actually introduced later and from a smaller frag, and it's PC Rainbow is doing amazing, and the Jolt is just like super slow growing. I mean, I'm noticing new tips from the base, so hopefully we're gonna get a growth sprout, but so far it's been super slow. The Walt Disney, I think, you know, hopefully we'll color up more, but right now I think the Orange Passion is so much more colorful than Walt Disney. Here we have the Strawberry Shortcake thriving in the what was previously known as the black hole of Acropora death. The Riffraff Pot of Gold Millie, I'm actually finally seeing the gold tone, so I'm happy about that. For the longest time it was the Pot of Green. But it's definitely coloring up. Marvin the Martian doing great as usual, and on the sand bed here we have Riffraff Mr. Pac-Man. You guys remember how like huge my Pac-Man colony was? Like it was like 8 inches across. So this thing is starting to grow as well. This is the what is that called? Major Laser, super slow grower. Well, actually no, it's maybe the second slowest growth out of all of my Acropora, next right before the Jolt. Here we have the Pink Cadillac, Riffraff Pink Cadillac. We have Bonsai Valida, a little bit of Jason Fox, well, the main major Jason Fox colony in the bottom, and I'm really loving the Pink Lemonade here. The colors are also really unique. That yellow, greenish yellow, is fairly unique. So and it's growing pretty fast as well. Then we have the TNT and Acropora starting to kind of get bigger. And then we look to the side of that. We have the Electric Miyagi Tort, as well as the Rainbow Loom. So things are coloring up really nicely. I'm digging the growth rates. I've been more heavily fragging things just to make sure things are kind of growing consistently, and we don't run into situations where one colony is a lot huger than the colony next to it. That's it, folks. So thanks again for watching. Again, sorry for the slow the slow introductions of new videos, but I think once all my reno is done, I'll have more time for reefing, and more importantly, I might have some kind of cool cool new announcements that that will impact that channel. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. All right. Thank you so much for watching, and see you around.